Welcome back to a brand new episode of Your Wealth and Beyond. I'm your host, Andrew Ruffell. Today I've got a special guest in the Dream Plan Retire studio. A lot of you listeners and viewers know Mike, but for those of you that don't, Mike Spangenberg is the CEO and co-founder of State 48, one of Arizona's most recognizable local apparel brands. But it is much more than just a t-shirt company. So today I'm excited to dig in to learn about your passion, how you grew this business over the last decade plus with childhood friends, and how you've really focused on this collaboration of getting the brand out there, but also helping entrepreneurs, because this show is all about helping entrepreneurs, the trials, the tribulations. So thanks for coming into the studio today.
Absolutely. You nailed it. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I love the studio, like I told you earlier, and excited to be on here.
Excited to have you. So, I've been out here 23 years, but I'm a Cleveland guy through and through. So I've got that passion for Cleveland. Yep. You're one of the few natives that, are out now. Obviously my daughter's a native and so forth, but you've had this passion of this home of Arizona, and want to learn a little bit of how you brought that to be, of the fact of how you built this company focused on that passion. So, walk the listeners through that don't know you about where that passion came from of this hometown.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was one of those rare dudes that grew up in Arizona, Chandler to be Pacific. So I'm 39 years old, and I felt like anytime in like school with teachers, or it came up of like the conversation of who's from Arizona, and I felt like I was that one dude that was raising my hand or just like being proud of where I'm from. And as a kid, I've always had the entrepreneur itch. I spent 15 years in the hotel industry. I've always had a very strong work ethic, but I've not to be corny, but I felt like I was put on this planet to do something special. And I've always loved clothes. I've always loved fashion. Like back to school shopping was probably my favorite thing about school. I've always loved business, and the fact that, growing up here, there was no sense of pride. Going to Cardinal games at Sun Devil Stadium, or going to First Fridays when it was a dirt lot and it wasn't a cool thing to do. It used to like genuinely upset me. Or people want to explore opportunities outside of Arizona after high school, and I'm like, what about our beautiful state, right? So I've always been a diehard fan of Arizona. I got every Arizona tattoo there is almost, and I just love our state. And to your point, when you said it's more than selling t-shirts and hats, that is so true. Like, we just genuinely want to spread love in our state, and there's no BS or politics to that. It's been clothing for all, inspired by Arizona since day one, and just proud to make a difference and collaborate and be so much more and create a foundation and and make impact in Arizona.
Yeah, we'll get into the foundation.
I know.
You've done some awesome work with that. So 2011, 2012 is when you and your two childhood friends, the three of you, decided that you wanted to maybe start this little side hustle. Like, maybe there's no apparel out there that represents this state that's quality. You're a fashion guy. Was that kind of the beginnings?
Yeah, I remember I dabbled in this network marketing, send out cards, thing of my first stab at entrepreneurship, and it wasn't my thing. But I've always loved clothes. So I was writing down names of like a brand probably for a year or so while I was working in the hotel industry, and nothing ever really stuck. And my buddy Stefan, who we grew up together, my dad was our t-ball coach. Never thought we'd been in business together. There was no plan to like, hey, let's start a business. We were living together. We were working together. He knew I was trying to create a brand that represents Arizona. He came across a brand in Detroit called Down with Detroit. So a similar concept. So I always give him a lot of props for that. And he comes out brushing his teeth one day and he says, State 48. And I was like, what's State 48? He was like, Arizona is a 48 state. And I was like, it was an aha moment. So we're like, boom, we got that. And then we brought on his younger brother, self-taught graphic designer, who I really didn't even get to know until we went in business together, to create our logo that you see today. And we had like 4 options. And that was probably one of the smartest things we ever did in business, was trademark our name and logo. I'm always grateful for that. but yeah, that's kind of the quick story of how it got started.
And you guys are probably the most recognizable, but there's also some some people that have chosen that name. Like there's
Yeah,
a brewery
no, a lot of people think we're associated with the brewery or the State 48 air conditioning company or State 48 painting. That's not us, but I'm really proud to like see how many people actually care about Arizona now and love the name. We certainly got a little lucky, but I'd certainly take a lot of pride in being the first company ever trademarked State 48. But now there's 80 plus organizations in the Valley, so it creates some confusion. But we just focus on what we do and just try to promote love and lead by example.
And so those early days, got the brand, getting things kicked off, but are you in the garage starting to
spare
come
bedroom?
Up with
Yeah.
So we're in the spare bedroom, and what's happening? You guys are just coming up with designs that you think would that you would want to wear. Like how do you guys get this thing start moving?
Yeah, and I'll kind of start by saying, one thing I think it's important when starting a business is what problem are you solving? And there was nothing out here in Arizona, any type of brand that like really cared about repping our state. It was the 3 for $10 corny Walgreens shirts that just weren't doing it for me.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's funny how some of that style comes back now, but that's where the passion came from. And then, we, again, collectively invested $1,500 to get the trademark. We worked full-time jobs the first 3 years. We were selling at apartment parties. Mill Avenue. Anywhere that would allow us out of our home, our neighbors that we were, longtime neighbors would probably thought we were drug dealers for a minute, but that definitely wasn't the case. Anywhere that would allow us to sell State 48, our website, we started getting little sales here and there. And then the more we invested in ourselves and other people, we just kept getting, having more momentum. And that was exciting. At first we did like a screen print run of two different runs of the most ugliest color combinations there are, and I still see them today, which is fun. And I was on me of just like, let's do all these fluorescent colors and fun stuff. And people just, again, took a liking to it, and really just more and more people growing up here and like really cared about our state and our teams and all that. So it just kept gaining more momentum.
And you guys were bootstrapping it, so you didn't have a lot of inventory. You were doing a lot of the screen printing on the fly, like basically.
When we first started, so we got a buddy of mine did our first run of like screen print shirts. And then we're like, hey, we need to figure this out on our own. So we bought a heat press off like Craigslist at the time for like $350 or something. Right. And we were just pressing shirts like in my spare bedroom. I remember I'm not a handyman at all. I remember making a shirt upside down, and we were figuring out, but we would literally have transfers like ready in different color combinations, have all the products online. Then when an order came in, we were just so excited back then too. You get 2 or 3 orders and you're like, boom, cool. We order from our local vendor, go pick up the shirts and go press shirts and ship them out, right? And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we're always grateful for the journey. But that's how it started, just pressing shirts.
And then what was the big milestone that allowed you to say that instead of this just being a passion project, a side hustle, that hey, this got some legs to it, and I can focus all my attention on it for the three of you guys? What was that?
Yeah, so we decided to go into Emerging Designer Bootcamp with Phoenix Fashion Week. So I always give a lot of love to them because we really learned the business of fashion, and life's all about who you know. Relationships are everything to myself and the company, and we started gaining confidence, and we actually finished runner up as like 3 dudes that didn't know what the heck we were doing in the fashion industry, competing against all these amazing talented designers and such. And it was because like we were already selling, like we had an actual business. And that's what I love about Brian and the belief of Phoenix Fashion Week is like, sure, anyone could make the best shoe or shirt or whatever, but can you sell it? And we were a legit company that were selling. So we were proud of that experience. And that led us to connecting with Jake Arians, Bruce Arians' son, the former Cardinals head coach. And they had a family foundation, which was incredible, called the Arians Family Foundation. And they're still like family today. And I always give them like, they're such a significant part of our story because they believed in us and they gave us a shot of like where co-branded's really collaborations really came about is we pitched BA some designs and it becoming like the silhouette of BA with the headphones on, and the Cardinals had a lot of success, and I really became like a Cardinals t-shirt. So we're not only were creating a revenue stream for our business, but we were able to give back, and we're always so proud of that partnership. And we still really worked with BA until like a couple of years ago, and again Jake's become family, and that just gave us credibility, and our shirts ended up on Monday Night Football and like being at at all the golf tournaments, connecting with so many great people. And then the Diamondbacks took notice, started working with the Diamondbacks and the Suns and Mercury and our favorite sports teams. But then it became so much more and started working with businesses in the Valley. And that's where really things have taken off for us and allowed us to be so much more than just selling T-shirts and hats out of a store.
Yeah, that passion, that culture that you've built, you figured out that this is our marketing.
Yep.
It's this kind of guerrilla marketing, and sometimes it's just the right time, right place, universe coming
Amen.
together
Yeah.
and bringing the right people together.
Yep.
And then you started seeing the collaboration that would work versus you just trying to be like every other apparel company. Hey, I'm going to buy some search ads and hopefully people will find us. But then there's really there's no passion there to take it to the next level.
Well, and retail's freaking hard. I mean, we still have our challenges every day. I mean, we have 4 retail locations, which I love because I believe in experiences and customer service and people and actually educating everyone who comes through our doors of who we are and like the services we offer, because we have become like a one-stop shop for all apparel and design. So much more than that. But like that is who we are. That's like people know we're authentic. When you get to know us, like we genuinely just want to promote love, and it's like an honor to be able to partner with so many incredible organizations, even now working with you all and like with Phoenix Children's Hospital, Dignity Health, elementary schools. We've worked with over 1,000 organizations. People, it allows us to create something special for them and share a story, because people love where they work or they live, but how can we have a cool factor to it, or like help them, create a special design that is used for fundraising or marketing assets or team member gifts or whatever. But that is just such a cool part of our organization. I love so much about it is the collaboration piece.
So how does that work then if I'm a company, we want to co-brand with you.
Yep.
We don't really know anything about designing. We got this kind of vision in our head. So what happens? We come to you guys and say, how do we get this
and that's where we always try to add tremendous value, right? So we have 3 designers on the team. So essentially Chloe, who manages this, would like get direction from the client and say, here's some questions to fill out, branding guidelines, all that, what's important to you. Then we work for you, right? We pitch you design ideas. Hey, love it, hate it, tweak it. And then we get to a design the partner loves, and then they buy. It's a minimum order of 50 shirts. They could order thousands if they want, and the lower the price gets, the more you order. So it's set pricing, really easy, especially there's no upfront costs. We make it, that's why like schools have been like the #1 industry we've worked with, because they use as revenue generating, products, and they can pre-order and pre-sale like all, that design ahead of time and get some money before even spending it with us. So we really are for the people and always try to make it as easy as possible.
When did you guys open up the first retail store?
So that was probably 2000. So our first actual office space was in Chandler, where we're still at today, in a Michael Pollock Business Plaza. It was 1,100 square feet, I think 2015, 16, around that time. And then it was a combination of like we shared one office, there's 3 of us. It was fulfillment, it was retail. And then more and more people just wanted to keep coming in there. And we're like, all right, we have something special, but it was like tucked away in the back. It was a commercial business plaza. Everyone, where the heck am I? So then we invested in a new location up in the front of the complex, and that's like our original Chandler retail store, and then we have our headquarters right next to it. So all of it's done right there in Chandler. Screen printing, embroidery, where all the magic happens.
And how many employees do you guys have?
25, including, so that's 3 on the foundation side too.
And so part of the entrepreneurial journey, I know you spent a lot of time trying to become the best leader that you can be.
Yeah.
What have you seen as now you've grown this thing from just the 3 of you, childhood friends, into now, this over the last decade, this real company, 25 people plus all the hundreds and hundreds of and thousands of people that you've touched. How have you grown into to be the best that you can be to lead your people?
Yeah, I when I reflect on the early days, and Steph and Nick and I were arguing about the dumbest stuff ever and just being stubborn, I'm really proud of my growth, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't invest in myself more. And that's probably one of my biggest regrets, is investing into myself personally and professionally. I joined a CEO coaching group through Visage, and they become like amazing friends and mentors. And I'm on the smaller side of the business with all of them, but like it's just so great to be around like-minded people that you're inspired by, that you can learn from. And like, not that, I love everyone on our team, I love my community, but like just in this stage of my life, like I just want to learn and continue to be the best leader and the best person I can. And if I didn't invest into that group, I've always motivator to learn on my own and be around those right people. But that really they hold you accountable. It really makes you better. So that's probably one of my biggest things I'm proud of like investing in yourself.
Yeah. Cause a lot of times we become an accidental business owner.
Yeah. A lot of us. Yeah. And business is humbling, like your new challenges every day, and you learn like you can't do it on your own.
Was that in the beginning years working with childhood friends, brothers, and so forth? Did you guys have some little bit of fisticuffs?
We never got physical, no. But yeah, it was, again, reflecting immaturity, stubbornness. I actually, Stefan exited the business a couple of years ago. I purchased his shares. And I'm just grateful because it ended peacefully, and we weren't friends when we were working together. And even Stefan and Nick were best friends or brothers, right? And I always felt that dynamic was 2 against 1, even though it wasn't like that, but it was just challenging. I had a different vision. My blood, sweat, and tears go into State 48, and Stefan wanted to do something different. So ever since that exit, it's great to have a friendship with him again. And actually, Nick and I's relationship has gotten stronger because it can be more of just the business relationship and not have the brother dynamic. So that was definitely a learning experience. But I'm so glad we got through that, because it was never toxic or anything, but we would have arguments, and it's just it's more because we care for each other so much and we don't want to let each other down. But yeah, I've definitely been stubborn and in the wrong plenty.
Yeah, and having 3 chefs in the kitchen, a lot of times you look at these companies and it's usually either 1 or 2, and it's hard when it's sometimes 3 to get vision to implement.
Absolutely. And I would say one of our biggest mistakes early on too is not defining roles and saying, so we're all doing the same stuff sometimes. It was such a waste of time and not understanding where people's strengths are, where their weaknesses are. And obviously you got to go through that sometimes working with people, but it's tough working with friends and family. That's for sure. Yeah.
And so your mantra's been always pay it forward. Who can we help? No ulterior motive, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It ultimately comes out to help grow the company as well. But after the collaboration, you got the PR with the Cardinals and the sports teams, and obviously for you being passionate about all the sports team here, that's cool in itself. But then you realize, how can we help other businesses just like you become better and more entrenched in the community? When did that light bulb go off and say, hey, we can not only co-brand and help these companies do this with this tangible product, but what can we do to give back to help these entrepreneurs be better leaders and grow their companies to make Arizona even that much more resilient on the economic side?
Yeah, no, I'm genuine when I say I definitely want to see others win. And I would say, we've always been so involved in the community, and I'm so grateful for it, because we wouldn't be here today without our incredible loyal supporters. But, we would support different causes, and people reach out about partnerships and sponsorships and all that. And it was, in your heart, you want to say yes to all that stuff. But on the for-profit side, you'll go out of business quick if you're doing that. So kind of we started a community impact, on the social responsibility side, on the for-profit, doing packing emergency food bags, United Food Bank and other things. But then it was just kind of light bulb went off, before 2000, 2020, of officially, hey, let's create a foundation that supports local entrepreneurs. And it's organic to who we are. We started with $1,500. Still figuring out today, how do we, and so many people reach out, probably similar to you, hey, give advice, and it's hey, let's do this on a bigger scale. And no way do we ever make it about us. We bring our community to help just pay it forward. And business is really hard, and it takes a lot of sacrifice. And I think a lot of business and entrepreneurship is portrayed to be the sexy thing to do, and you're going to make millions of dollars tomorrow. And I think we need to be responsible leaders and kind of make sure, educate our community of you better be ready for this. But there's no better feeling than actually pursuing something you love. So that's where the foundation was started in 2020, to support local entrepreneurs.
Yeah, impeccable timing too, with pandemic
right during the pandemic. Yeah, that's how you know it's real.
Everybody felt that they were lost, and so you had this guiding force to bring people together. And I assume in the beginning you were trying to figure this out. How do we do? We know where the goal is, but how do I create a foundation? How do we do this? And then you throw in the pandemic, so you're probably doing a lot of it virtually.
Yeah,
At that first part.
Yeah, our first speaker series was virtual and at our headquarters, and I have so much love and respect for people in the nonprofit world because I underestimated how much work goes into that, and it's still till this day, like how much time goes into building. I mean, we've created another business, in the last 4 years with 15 board members, and so we've given out almost $100 grand in grants already, and still have a lot more, coming down the pipeline in the future. So it's tough, but it's super rewarding
and fun. It's 32 businesses that you guys have helped fund.
Yeah,
so
I know
far?
16 was last year. I know Marina would be able to say those numbers, better than I will. But yeah, it's
I just got it from your website.
Oh, cool. There you go. Then 32.
Doing my due diligence here.
32.
So that beginning part, then this speaker series, how did you guys start building out the agenda? Was it things that you thought, like I bring people on the podcast because I want to learn, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
was it things like, hey, I need help here. I think if I need help, that means these other businesses need help. How did you guys start building out that platform, the agenda, in the beginning, and now 4 years in, you guys are doing some amazing things on it.
No, thank you. I remember our first speaker series was like a 7-week speaker series, and we're like, oh wow, this is way too long. Even though there's a million topics to touch on, so that's the cool thing is we keep improving and bringing in other entrepreneurs, and whether it's a board member, committee member, or just like in our community to help. Like I know what I struggle with on business or topics that are important to the masses, right? And we serve a lot of early stage entrepreneurs, but it just kept improving and getting feedback. And our first speaker series was at CEI in downtown Phoenix at ASU. It was mainly virtual, and then we went to Walter Studios, which has an incredible studio. And then last year we had like Walter Studios again, and 200 plus people in attendance virtually and in person.
Is that the Walter Warehouse?
Yeah, where they throw concerts and stuff. So it's perfect. You have a big auditorium, and then you have like the networking components for the bar and drinks and food. And this year it's going to be at Arizona Center. We're expecting at least a capacity of 300 people, and we've narrowed it down to 4 topics, right? Vision, marketing, legal. Like obviously you could talk about that, and you put any entrepreneur or business men and women on stage, like it's gonna evolve into talking about almost everything. So we really try to like focus in on those topics that like our community has asked for, but also know what's super important of starting any business.
And are you still entrenched in the design when you guys come out throughout the year with different, forget about the co-branding, but like just your designs?
Our stuff, no, I'm very involved in the business, but I've gotten better of letting go. Not that I'm ever want to be a micromanager or anything. I'm just super passionate about and have a good sense of what works, what doesn't work. So I'm more responsible building the content calendar and like the themes, and then creative does an excellent job of like pitching ideas, and then we'll collaborate on that. But they keep getting better and better, and then more it's like, yeah, that's great, let's do it. But we're still figuring out every day. I mean, one design you think is going to be a home run, then it's a bust, or I mean, nothing's ever really a bust, because even if you have 5 people buy some, you should be grateful. But as the business grows, like higher expectations, it's harder to miss on things. But it's fun. I mean, we're just continue. We have such a wide audience on the for-profit side, whether you're an infant or your grandparents, or, anytime we've gone too fashion forward, it kind of alienates some of the audience, but we're starting to bring in more of that audience too, with just getting better and better garments and just attracting new people and just doing fun stuff. But.
And the marketing side of it is, your foundation helps, the collaborations, all of those things. That is your main marketing funnel.
Yeah.
Besides social media and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're huge on social and market and email and paid ad and all that. But like, being in the community is probably one of my favorite things. And that's where you actually build relationships. And sure, like we're essentially creating an ecosystem of people to, create jobs in Arizona and like do business the right way, work with the right people. In my opinion, is the ultimate goal, is just continue to like, do things the right way as business leaders in this community. And then that ultimately, hey, if you ever need shirts or if you ever need hats for your own business, like we could help you there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a co-branded stuff. So obviously the intention is just to pay it forward and help, but we're also could be there for anyone to support them.
And over the years, as you've grown this successful company, do you have 1 or 2 areas or timelines where you're just like, it almost hit the fan and
Yeah,
picked yourself up and you learned from it? Like, what can we tell the listeners that was one of the biggest struggles that you guys had?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple different paths. Like early on, it was extremely difficult. Not taking $1 for the first 3 years and still having that love and passion for it. And one thing that worked well for us is we staggered going full time first. Like Stefan went full time, then Nick, then I went last. Again, we were invested with $1,500, figuring out every dollar, was going back in the business. So that's, I would say, it was part of our journey, but really defining roles and having a strategic plan and actual formal business plan. We did not have that. Right. So that's one. And I would say in this last year or two has been extremely humbling and challenging just with growing. You get to a stage sometimes you're like, man, this is becoming real. Hey, am I still the right person? You got to ask yourself, am I still the right person to lead this thing? Learning, top line revenue, I think we could all get distracted by that so often. And it's that is not the name of the game. We gotta create profits to be more profitable, and not investing into more financial. We have a fractional CFO group now for the last year, and that's been a game changer. I don't have a background in finances. Not investing early on in the accounting, principles, and just having a strategic plan on the financial side. We've always got through it, but I mean, it has certainly been challenging, especially the last couple of years, investing in more people, systems, process, just thinking it's always going to come, right? But what's that kind of plan B, and what's that real strategic plan is kind of something.
Right, because now you've got more people that you're responsible for.
More payroll, more stress. You think that everyone, the more your business grows, just the more exciting it gets. And I'm sure there's plenty of situations like that, but, and I love what I do, that I get to do this. I would just even dreaming about, or thinking in 2013, 14 of even, working full time, State 48, it was oh my God, could this ever happen? And then the fact that we have 25 incredible people going along with us on this journey, I don't take that for granted, but that's why I work my ass off every day to thinking what are the next 10 things we need to be doing, because I feel that sense of pressure to deliver. Right.
Yeah. The bigger you get, the more pressure there is. There's a quote that's always stuck with me. We were talking about the revenue, top line versus profit. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yep.
So it keeps you in check.
Yeah.
So with the speaker series you guys cut, and this will be coming out towards in the next few weeks. Okay. When you guys are in the crux of that 4-part series there. So how many you said there's going to be about 300 that attend each. Yeah, so our capacity is 300 just with chairs, but I mean, the space is beautiful, can obviously hold a lot more, but that's where we have it capped out right now. But that would be a huge jump from even last year. And that's kind of the vision of I see this thing blowing up to have thousands of people in an auditorium, because I don't care even if you're not, pursuing your entrepreneur, journey, you can learn something from all these businessmen and women that are on stage. And we have such a diverse group of individuals with different backgrounds, different industries, whether it's IP, legal attorney, apparel, Sparkle Bar, Arizona Painting Company, Lund Mortgage. We have you can get value out of what anyone says at these speaker series. And I'm always first row, can't wait to learn and connect with all these great people too. It's your own mastermind.
I freaking love it. I get jacked up for this stuff.
Love that. Yeah. Love that. So what do you guys want to? What's next? What's the next 3 to 5 years look like?
Oh yeah. So on the for-profit side, we really want to become that one-stop shop for apparel and design. And what I mean by that is, obviously we have the retail side of things, we have the B2B or the collaboration side. Really what we're focusing on educating people on is that we do have, we can manufacture for other organizations, screen printing, embroidery, promo products, all that. That's a major focus to really get us to a whole nother level in business, and allows us to, open more doors statewide. We're licensed with all the major universities, and we obviously are very popular in the Valley, even still knowing a lot of people don't know who we are, but we really want to serve the state. So expanding, Tucson, Flagstaff, is a dream. But we really need that B2B business to really take off, because retail, you have a lot of ups and downs, right? It's challenging, but I really believe in the experience. But really I want everyone to know that State 48 is that recognized brand of Arizona that consistently just promotes love. and that's why we have the reputation we have, and I take a lot of pride in that. And the people that come on our team, you better also love people and love our state too, because one bad apple could really ruin your reputation over years of all the hard work.
And you guys have done such a good job building the brand that it's almost where it is. People don't sometimes realize that you are an apparel company from the heart of in the soul of everything, right? Because it's like they feel that it's just this brand that's just so significantly part of the community here.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh wait, this is actually, I can buy some stuff here. Right?
Yeah, no, and I kind of like, I try to always look at things in a positive outlook, but when people mix this up with the brewery or other organizations, like, you kind of take that with, kind of a stamp of approval a little bit of like everyone thinks it's State 40, we own everything, and certainly that's not the case. But yeah, we're just focused on the for-profit side, the nonprofit side. And what's really cool too is we have a license plate that's out now since October that benefits our foundation. And like again, like all these like milestones along the years, like I always got to tell myself, like, give yourself some grace and actually appreciate those wins, because like it is really freaking unbelievable as challenging as business can be. And it is pretty unbelievable that 3 dudes from Chandler out of a spare bedroom, started pressing shirts and just to promote love and get to work, have the reputation we have, and get to work with the people we work and be on these podcasts is something I'm always, I know I say I'm grateful a lot, but I mean, I don't know any other words to say that.
And I know a lot of the listeners are probably want to know who is the better T-ball player back in the day.
I mean, who knows? I would probably say I'll probably give it to Stefan. We'll give it to Stick.
Yeah. That's great. So as you guys look at the growth of Arizona, Phoenix, and we see Super Bowl coming here, and we saw the championship games coming here, and NCAA. Does that stuff help catapult for you guys as well? Is that a huge boom for the economy here? But is that like a huge feather in your cap when that happens?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I feel like Arizona's biggest brand ambassador. So like when I see all these events being put on here and then everyone just loves their experience, like I take a lot of pride in that. I'm like, I want our state to be hospitable. I want us to have the best parties. I want us to have the best businesses. Like I love seeing all this growth, or people moving here and then they're like, people will say negative things about that, but it's like, hey, there's a reason why so many people want to live in this beautiful state. In the Super Bowl, we had a very successful pop-up right across the street from the convention center. We got to do some really cool opportunities, and that's where big dream of like I see State 48 jerseys, I see State 48 branding. Like you are in State 48. It's not about us, but like you are in the 48th state. And again, with our trademark and logo and name, I think there's a lot of great opportunities to do even things on a bigger scale of whether that's a bowl game or Super Bowl or something. So. We'll keep praying and working for that.
Keep grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been out here since 2001, just seeing the growth that we've had. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Secret is out, and you're going to hear it from both sides. That's good and bad, but I just look at it as all good.
Yeah. I mean, when you start to, I'm sure you stay up to date on the economy, obviously, and you start to worry about maybe things going on, but then you see what's happening in Arizona. It's like, it's hard not to be nothing but excited, because all these businesses are moving here and people are moving here, and it's like you don't want to knock on wood or say anything to jeopardize that, but is Arizona recession proof almost? Like I don't know, it's a beautiful thing we got going on, and I just love what we've built, not necessarily like State 48, but just like our whole community. Yeah. Like we have a sense of pride. And, again, back in the day, going to downtown Phoenix, you'd only go for, a D-backs game or a Suns game. I mean, now it's like, I remember we met with our first attorney, 2012, 2013, we couldn't even find like a coffee shop open to like even just meet. It was hard, but now it's booming. Like it's cool, and all the different cities have their own vibe to it. I love like the culture has become.
And you mentioned First Friday, how that's just exploded over the last 7-8 years.
Yeah.
But what was it like in the beginning? It was
was a dirt lot. Like, and that's what's so cool. We got Allison from T-Espresso that's joining our speaker series. I met her, and I met so many other, great organizations now through these early stages of like vendor, like just pop-ups, whether it's First Friday or Phoenix Flea or Junk in the Trunk. Like that's where you really build relationships. But I seriously remember like, we would be stoked. We make a couple $100, but it was literally a dirt lot. All the clothes would get dirty. It was dusty. Like First Friday was not a thing back then, when we first started, and it's just amazing to see where it is today.
Yeah, it's just explosion, which is great. And you're right. Now people are moving. Like when I moved here, you were never thinking moving down to Phoenix.
Oh no!
And now it's happening.
Now it's the trendy thing to do.
That's right. That's right. The when you mentioned earlier too on the Arizona used to be like boom bust Phoenix, and you're right. It feels like with a lot more stabilization of local businesses, some of these bigger businesses coming in, becoming a hub of a lot of these high tech and things of that nature. So it's cool to see that people out there know we've got a good growth mindset, and taxes are relatively low, safe city, clean city. Yeah, you got to deal with some heat for a little bit, but
unless you live in San Diego, you're dealing with some bad months.
That humidity everywhere else.
And we always joke and say it's a dry heat, but a lot of family live in Florida, and I can't deal with that humidity. But I think you can suffer 3 or 4 months. And obviously, there's a lot of people in Arizona that can make Arizona or California their second home in the summer or somewhere, but there's places you can go to cool off, or even Flagstaff. And
then with the foundation, so as we wind down, the way you guys give those grants, how does that work? What's the process look like?
Yeah, so really proud of how we can continue to improve there. Last 2 years we had our board. We create committees and we have a rubric and just kind of go through that. But we realized too, there was kind of a lot of, we want to remove biases or like my opinion on a business rather than this person. So we've worked with the Giving Co. Marina and Bethany have done an incredible job, leveling up our just everything we're doing, systems, process. So we'll actually have a system that grades, based off rubric, and then obviously we'll have our committees join and give their feedback. And last year we gave out $50,000 to a combination of 16 grant winners, so that was all split up based on how we felt like their application was. But it's pretty dialed in process now. That's very fair, and not that it wasn't in the past, but we just want to continue to level up and be, as visible and honest as possible.
And so in the show notes, there'll be listeners, viewers, ways to learn more about the foundation. What are some of the ways that you guys work towards getting those donations in to help fund the foundation that then helps fund these businesses?
Yeah, no, thank you. Obviously, partners like yourself, means the world to us. We're always looking for long-term relationships and partnerships that believe in supporting local entrepreneurs, because that's creating jobs in Arizona. We have maybe a challenge on the foundation side to not have pulls at the heartstrings, right? But to be able to, help someone fulfill their passion and their dream in life is for me, that gets me, pumped up and excited, and that allow people to help us, support those entrepreneurs is huge. But they can go to state48foundation.org. There's obviously donation buttons, there's merch that we sell on our website. But we really believe in trying to find partners that can come in and invest with us and be across all of our events and help us, and really, I think in my opinion, any business in Arizona can benefit off of supporting local entrepreneurs. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing tremendous things, seeing the growth of each year, getting bigger and bigger, more collaborations.
Yep.
And I think that the key takeaway here is, you found something that you're passionate about. You can't fake that.
Yep.
Resiliency, there was many years where you were working 2 jobs basically.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And when you took that leap of faith to go full time, it wasn't a home run. You didn't know it was
scary.
a guarantee.
It was scary. Yeah.
And you weren't. You weren't 19 at the time, so you had responsibility, right? And
absolutely.
So, but you looked at it and said, "This is my vision. We're going to make it work. We're going to go through ups and downs. We're going to work through things." And then I think not every company can utilize the type of marketing that you do, but it's thinking outside the box, finding out what you're passionate about, and then for you, bringing that local community together has just been a windfall and a game changer, and it's helping everybody, including you and your 25 employees.
Yeah, no, well said. And I think at the end of the day, when you're considering pursuing anything, like, man, when you love something, it just makes everything that much easier. Nothing special in life's going to be easy to achieve, right? And that's where I love just kind of reflecting on the journey and really appreciate the losses, the wins, all that. But I certainly believe so much in like passion and work ethic will get you through. I'm certainly not the smartest dude in the world. I know that, but like I'll work my butt off and I will treat people right. And my vision continues to become a reality, which I appreciate because we have an incredible team that's helping us get there. But passion and work ethic, it goes a long way.
Yeah, you can't fake that.
No, people sense through BS, right? I remember hearing recently that someone more likely to, support a business that they believe in, if 80% of people will more likely want to support your business, they believe in the values of their leadership, right? Or just hearing, their CEO talk and just like, oh yeah, I could sense, someone being authentic, right? So I think that's important for everyone, just to always be themselves.
Yeah, great. Well said. Listeners, this has been a tremendous episode, Mike. We appreciate you spending some time with us. All the show notes will be below the YouTube video, as well as on all the Apple and Spotify, different podcast platforms. Appreciate you coming in.
Oh, pleasure being here.
Love what you're doing. And we at Baintree are very excited to be part of the collaboration and working together, hopefully over a long-term partnership here
amen.
To give back to the community. So, Mike, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thanks for believing in us. Appreciate it.
And listeners, stay tuned for a brand new episode later this month. Happy planning, everybody. We'll talk to you real soon.